This is the second video. Apologies for the last one. I think you may or may not have watched that. Congratulations if you got to the end. It's not what we intended at all. Got someone else filming today, so we get all of the content. So the engine came out and went back in yesterday. We put a new clutch in, and we had a load of parts to fit, but unfortunately they were the wrong ones. So we've tried to use the existing parts to find out where the water leak was. We didn't actually know where the water leak was coming from, to be honest, so we just changed all the parts that we thought were possible. Unfortunately it's still leaking, so around this area straight down from there is still getting wet. We've still got a drip when the car gets hot, so hopefully I'm going to be able to remove the battery and all of that tray and the ECU and see if we can actually see where the water's coming from to take a look at it. So firstly, take the positive terminal off the battery, which is the clip type on this one. So we disconnected. This needs to come off the top of the battery. It's got two little tabs here and here. If you lift that up slightly, it will then just push back. Let's just get the screwdriver on there, just to go over these tabs. There we go. That will just push back. I'm actually going to take off this connector, just so that we can move this right out of the way. So that 13 just gives you a little bit more movement to get that out of the way. Put the nut back on so we don't lose it. And this can sit over here for now. Battery box itself, can't see the clips very well on this side. If you pull up, you can see that little clip locates down there, one on the other side as well, and that just pulls forward. Battery itself does have a clamp on it. To remove the cover from the ECU by sliding these tabs backwards. The ECU itself does have clips holding it in as well. Brute force is the only way. I've got this out before now, and that will just sit out the way down there, giving you access to the 10mm holding the battery in. I'll take that clamp off and take the other 8mm terminal off and come back when the battery's out. So the battery out has given us some more room. Where we actually need to see is down here. This is where the water is coming from. So somewhere around the thermostat housing. I'm going to remove this battery tray just so that we can get to the back of it. On this tray you've got a number of plastic clips like this one, which should just prise out. So that you can lift this out. 2 10mm here.
taking those front things off. At the back here, the negative terminal comes up through that, so just take the wire out of that clip, pull the battery box forward, and that should just lift out. I'm going to just take this metal tray out of the way as well. So there's one 13 at the back. That connector will just push above the brake reservoir to hold it. 113 out the back of there. It does have, again, more of these clips on. Push those out so they stay with the car and doesn't try and take them with him. That's another side of this as well. Just keep it nice and tidy, but there's these clips to take off, although they do seem quite reusable. Okay, battery tray metal part is out, and that now gives us a lot more visibility to down here to see where the water's coming from. I'm going to temporarily reconnect the battery by putting a jump lead on here for the negative. I'm going to remove this lead so this doesn't contact anything and put a positive one on here, just so we can start the engine and get it up to temperature. Okay, I'm not sure how well this is going to come out or how much you can actually see. You can just see a clip down there. Now that is the pipe on the back of the engine that we saw in the other videos. The water is leaking from the bottom of that clip where the thermostat housing goes into it. So I'm going to remove all of the wires, take off the thermostat housing and see if I can reseat it a little bit better.
found the root of the problem, and the good news is that the engine doesn't have to come out again. The pipe on the back is actually fine. This is what the problem was, the thermostat housing. And although it looks okay around all of the edges, I did manage to get the camera in and get a light on there and see where it was dripping. It was actually dripping from underneath here and inside all of this edge and along the top was all very wet. So this is cracked. This is what was dripping, and obviously it was going on top of the gearbox, making it very difficult to find. I do have another thermostat housing that we got from autodoc.co.uk. On initial inspection it looked exactly the same as this one from the pictures. I should have inspected it closer because it is very slightly different. The sensor wiring on the car, which I've put down somewhere, basically has a thermostat probe which screws into the top of this housing. This one doesn't, it has a completely separate thermostat. So instead of the 4-pin connection on the old one, we've got two 2-pin ones, one of which controls the thermostat itself, so I can't use this. One of the pipes is different as well. This one clips on to here, whereas on the other new thermostat housing that I've got, which is different, as I say, it's just a straight pipe and clip assembly. So I need to send this back to autodoc.co.uk. So not sure when we're going to see you again. It's going to be about 5 days for parts, but I'll update you when I put the new one on.